Welcome to IHIP News. Pumps, I've noticed that the president-elect of the United States of America seems to have to travel everywhere with a full-time babysitter, and that babysitter is Elon Musk. The Notre Dame Cathedral reopened. Emmanuel Macron invited Jill Biden and Joe Biden. Joe Biden couldn't make it. Now we know why, because he was probably in the Situation Room regarding Syria. And Donald Trump is there parading around, and it looks like he has a constant monitor in Elon Musk, which makes my brain goes to this. We now know that Elon Musk and Vladimir Putin spoke a lot the last couple of years. We know that Trump admires / fangirls / potentially rumored to be in a compromising position with Putin. Why does the president-elect have to have a billionaire babysitter that follows him everywhere? It projects such weakness, and I've never seen a president of the United States have to have a billionaire babysitter parade around with him on the international stage. It's really weird.
It's so strange to me because when I look at that situation, I think, would you want Elon Musk, Mr. Ketamine, to be your babysitter? The answer is no. But I wonder if it's what Michael Cohen has told us repeatedly, that Trump has such a desire for money and he thinks money is so important. So he's so impressed with Elon Musk because he's the richest man in the world. On the flip side, Elon Musk wants to be president. So it's this just really tangled, moth to a flame, toxic relationship going on. It's so gross. And you know what grossed me up the most about that whole thing in France? That Jill Biden was gracious. And so Donald Trump, as he is known to grift, starts like a cologne line with that picture and says, oh, you can't resist it because she was trying to be gracious. It's so gross.
I want to go back to your point about Elon Musk, there being some sort of envy power struggle. Is it that, or is it more sinister? Is it that Elon Musk paid over $200 million for the access that he has? And I stated earlier, there is some sort of colluding or conversations with Vladimir Putin. My question is, do we have a bought and paid for, senile, demented president-elect that larger, more nefarious characters have him, have him on the strings? Because Trump never wants to be overshadowed.
Right.
He wants to be the richest. He wants to be the best. And as I connect the dots behind the scenes, over $225 million rigged an entire website, X, all in his favor, and spent tons and tons of money in the blue wall states to flip them. My question is there something deeper going on?
My answer to that would be absolutely. I mean, I just don't think there's any way around it. Why would Elon Musk be so vested when you can find on X comments that he's made about Donald Trump's age, his inability to run a country at that age? I don't think there's any question. It's far more nefarious than we even realize.
Okay, then Trump did an interview over the weekend, and he's been, just quietly, at Mar-a-Lago since he won, tweeting, Truth Socialing, having, dinner parties where everybody has to give him a standing ovation all the time because he's so wildly insecure. But I'd forgotten just, his greatest hits of just misery that he rolls out. And here he is being questioned about the 2020 election.
Sir, I don't have to tell you this because you've talked about it. It comes at a time when the country is deeply divided. And now you're going to be leading this country for the next 4 years. For the sake of unifying this country, will you concede the 2020 election and turn the page on that chapter?
No. No, why would I do that? But let me just tell you, when you say the country is deeply divided, I'm not the president. Joe Biden's the president.
But you're going to be the president.
No. I'm not the president. So when you say it's deeply divided, I agree. But Biden's the president, I'm not. And he has been a divider.
Here's what bothers me about that line of questioning. She says, for the sake of unifying the country, will you concede? Shouldn't the question be, for the sake that you were definitely beaten, that you lost the election, and over 60 court cases have proven that you lost the election. For the sake of honesty and integrity, will you concede the election? This deference that's always given to these power structures, even in a simple question like that, really, really bother me. There's no way that he's going to be able to unify the country. He is the most polarizing president we have ever had. And the people on his side that stormed the Capitol and all of this, he could say, hey, I actually lost. And they'd be like, no, he didn't. He's just saying that. I mean, it just makes me insane. What are your thoughts on that, the way she questioned him?
I think that the softball questions that he gets, it's revolting because he is always given the latitude to lie and nobody ever calls him on it. I'm with you on the questioning. But here's the deal. You can't ask that man about honesty and integrity because he has none and he has no value for it. I mean, it is the most foreign thing to him on the planet. And here's the deal. Unifying the country, he doesn't give a shit about unifying the country. He doesn't give a shit about bipartisan work or working together and helping all the American people. All he gives a shit about is him. So it does not surprise me in the least. A, that she threw him softballs and asked a terrible question, and B, that he was allowed to lie with impunity.
Okay, next up, she questions him about the tariffs, and we all know what's coming, but he's finally starting to say it. Kylie, play the clip.
To lower prices, you are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe it.
Can you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. But I can say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries, but in particular China. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars.
I mean, he's just a liar. He just sits and lies and lies and lies. This man knows nothing about the economy other than just bravado to say, oh my God, when I was president, the stock market was doing well. Well, Biden's stock market has blown his out of the water. And I think it's interesting that you see that when the Democrats are in power and there's public polling done, Republicans say the economy is terrible and Democrats say it's great. And then vice versa happens. Just since this election, you're already starting to see the polling switch. Democrats are now starting to say the economy isn't doing well, and Republicans are saying, yes, it is doing well. And so there is this need for the American public, above and beyond anything else, to feel like their side is winning over the well-being of people. And I think that's really, really problematic when we, just disregard facts and disregard data and then curate it to our own personal biases. And I think this happens on both sides.
Oh, it absolutely happens on both sides. What kills me about that, why didn't Kristen Welker say, this is how tariffs work? It's not open for discussion. Tariffs are paid by the country that they're being imported to. The corporations are going to pass the tax on. They're going to pass the price increase on to the American consumer. And then when he said, we had the greatest economy in the world before COVID. Sir, that's a lie. That is not true. But they never do. They never do. They just let it go on, which is why half the people that watch that and think, well, before COVID, he had the best economy in the world.
Pumps, did you know that last year, half of American consumers took on debt to pay for the holidays?
I can believe it. And there's nothing more stressful than financial stress.
Listener, this year it could be you that's facing debt. It could be me. And it's never too early to start planning to get out. And my friends at PDS Debt can help with a personalized solution just for you. If you're making payments every month on your debt and your balances aren't going down, PDS has solutions for you. Everyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies, and there is no minimum credit score required. Bad and fair credit are accepted. Save more while paying off your debt in a fraction of the time. Start planning today. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/IHIP. It only takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/IHIP. PDS Debt, .com/IHIP. The sane washing that continues with him is something that the corporate media has just failed and contributed and been complicit in this rise of this authoritarian style figure that has a full-time babysitter that's a billionaire, that somehow says, oh, we are the anti-establishment party. We're taking out the elites, when he is a billionaire that was funded by a billionaire, that babysitter billionaire is united with a bunch of other billionaires. It is just also they can exploit the masses. That is their number one goal, is to exploit the masses to enrich themselves more. They use culture wars to keep their eye off the ball of the class wars, because what's really going on here are class wars. Because he's such this crazy figure and he always says crazy stuff, this clip right here is important to me, and it's because this is how demented and senile the man really is. The media and Twitter and all of these other places just gets 15, 20 seconds where he sounds somewhat coherent. But listen to this. This is the bulk of the crap he says.
I won on two things: the border, and more than immigration. You know, they like to say immigration. I break it down more to the border, but I won on the border, and I won on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, you know, who uses the word? I started using the word. The groceries, when you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
So that just, it's nonsensical.
Right.
It makes no sense. And then if you look at X or any, social media website over the weekend, it shows Trump in France doing this weird handshake with Macron, and they're, squeezing each other's hands. And then there's a moment where Trump has to speak, and he says the fourth grade, fifth grade sentences like, we love France. We have a lot of French people. We play offense and defense with France. And it's this really low IQ. Mm-hmm. But the way the right projects him, oh my God, Donald Trump is back. America's back. The narrative should be, and I don't know why the left isn't more jumping on this, President-elect Trump has to go to France with a full-time babysitter. Mm-hmm. He looks like a moron with all of these weird handshakes. And when he speaks to the press with Emmanuel Macron, he speaks at a fourth grade reading level. And I didn't see any of that over the weekend. No. Those were just my observations of what a faceplant his trip to France was. But he has all these bros, and of course, Elon Musk is full-time babysitter that rigs the algorithm, that these guys think it's strength because you crank your arm up and do this really weird handshake. But then when you start speaking like a fourth grader, they just completely ignore that. And he just completely embarrassed himself. I mean, the whole thing that I saw in France was totally embarrassing. And then, like you said, the cologne, because he's the biggest grifter on the planet, and he puts First Lady Jill Biden up there, which I don't want to give that much of attention. That's what they want us to focus on all the time, and not what a beta male he is, why he's being babysat all the time, why he's talking to Vladimir Putin but not publicly talking about it. How close is his babysitter's relationship with Vladimir Putin? These are the things that they want to keep our eye off the ball by saying, oh, look, we can deter our enemies with our Trump cologne. Even Jill Biden's smiling. It's so stupid. It's child's play bullshit, but it's dangerous because it takes our eye off the ball as to whom Trump is really working for.
I find it so appalling, that handshake. I just thought to myself, Macron must be dying at what a shitty person he is, and how dumb Americans are that they elected him. And then, like you, when he started speaking, I was like, oh, well, this is going to go over great, because everybody who heard this is going to say, God, Americans are stupid because they think this guy's smart.
Right.
They think he's the guy. Uh-huh. I mean, I was horrified. I was embarrassed.
But where's the messaging? Why isn't that going viral right now? Trump has to go to Paris with a full-time babysitter. That shit would drive him crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why he's allowed to dictate the narrative with the tariffs or the clips where he somewhat sounded sane, even though he's lying in them.
Right.
And that becomes the news story versus here's a president-elect that seems to have a full-time babysitter with her all the time. And this babysitter happened to do a large investment into the campaign and also happens to have a side relationship with Vladimir Putin, who is one of our adversaries. I don't know, call me crazy. I'm just a podcaster in Oklahoma City, but it seems to me like we're burying the lead here.
Right. We're missing the boat. And I could talk myself into the fact that Elon Musk and the oligarchs know that Trump is completely incompetent and mentally unwell.
Of course they do.
And maybe Elon's the one making the decisions.
I don't know. I think there is some majorly compromised position here that everybody is in. I don't know that Elon is making the positions as much as I believe that Vladimir Putin is a former KGB agent.
Right.
And they know the psychological profile of this man is to flatter him, offer effusive praise, and then you get him where you want him. So I think they are playing the game. I just think it's interesting that somebody that made that large of an investment into a campaign has not left the man's side since he was elected.
I even saw them. They were together on Thanksgiving.
All right, we'll see you guys later.